Insider fans. We are back with highlights from the Week 6 games, including several that went right down to the wire. Interviews with Westchester Henderson head coach Bob Bryce and Westchester East head coach Scott Stevens talking about the Henderson East rivalry. Coach Wolf and Coach Mitten break down our game of the week between Henderson and East. And finally, predictions from the insiders and the familiar guest. So buckle up your chin straps and get ready. But first, a word from Studio One, the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. Highlights of this week's games are brought to you by Studio One, the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders for our inaugural season. Studio One also houses Sports Vault. Sports Vault is your premium provider of sports-related autographed and non-autographed merchandise. Sports Vault is the leader in licensed sports memorabilia, novelties, trading cards, and custom framing. Sports Vault is located at 520 East Lancaster Avenue in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. We are always looking to add sponsorship and join our family here at ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. This week, we are adding a Player of the Week segment, and pretty soon we may add an Upset of the Week that you can sponsor. Just send an email to and we can set you up with the sponsorship package of your choice.
We're going to start our highlight package off with Avon Grove Unionville. And we're going to start with Unionville scoring first as they're deep in Avon Grove territory. Here to start the game, Unionville quarterback Brody McLaughlin is going to score on a 10-yard run here to open the scoring, make it 7-0 Unionville.
Yeah, their quarterback got injured during the first quarter, so Brody, they turned it into almost like a wildcat formation. I think it really helped them because Avon Grove, didn't really prepare for it all week.
Yeah, and he ended up with 160 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Here you're going to see Avon Grove quarterback Frank Hogerworth fumble deep in Longhorn territory, and Tristan McElrath recovers for Unionville.
Yeah, that would have tied the game, so really momentum went back to Unionville.
Punt formation here for Unionville. But Avon Grove's Grayson Pittman breaks through and blocks the punt, setting up Avon Grove deep in Unionville territory.
Yeah. And then on 3 plays later,
McLaughlin is going to score his second touchdown.
Yep. Hogerworth, they just run a nice little crossing route here. And then Avon Grove takes the lead 7-6 with 24 seconds left going into the half. Third quarter action here.
Yeah, McLaughlin is going to score his second TD of the night. This one, 16-yard run. Nice nifty moves there. He weaves his way to the end zone.
Yeah. And then they wind up going for 2 here. By the way.
And they add the 2-point conversion.
Brody McLaughlin, while we're waiting him to add the 2-point conversion on this power, he will be our co-player of the week, the ChesCo Insiders co-player of the week. Congratulations to Brody McLaughlin from Unionville.
14-7 at this point, third period. We're going to see a big defensive play here as Unionville's Drew Paleo picks off the Hogerworth pass.
Yeah, this is in the fourth quarter.
Nice interception, leaping interception right here.
Yeah.
And that sort of shuts down the Avon Grove comeback attempt.
Well, still 14-7, but it definitely turned momentum. But now this
seals
which is
the deal.
2 plays after that interception.
McElrath is going to go 69 yards on the jet sweep right here coming up to end the scoring. Big burst of speed, nice cut there. He's gone, untouched, 69 yards. And Unionville defeats Avon Grove 20-7. Okay, we head to Kennett for Kennett and Chichester. Chichester 0-6 on the year. Kennett deep in Chichester territory early in the first period. And Ian Geyer is going to open the scoring for the Blue Demons with a nice 5-yard run straight up the middle. Kennett once again deep in Chi territory. And this time they're going to throw for a touchdown as quarterback Garrett McCracken is going to find Gavin Rich for the 15-yard touchdown pass to put Kennett up by 2 scores.
It's a nice little hitch, and then he makes a nice little move there in the corner to get in the end zone.
Okay, second quarter action now. They're again deep in Chichester territory. This time they're going to run the ball in with Jolex Carabao on the jet sweep from 16 yards out.
Nice cutback by Joe X.
Kennett again on the move. McCracken is going to drop back to throw. He's in the gun. He finds Carabell with a pretty 29-yard post score for the score. Kennett rolls over Chichester.
Yeah, final score, Kennett 34, Chi 16. Kennett's really getting on a roll here.
Yes, they are. They're right outside the playoff barrier in 5A. Okay, Downingtown West, Great Valley. Downingtown West deep in Great Valley territory early in the game. Cole Bricker takes the snap, opens the scoring with a 15-yard touchdown pass to his favorite receiver, J.D. Weller. Once again, D. West driving on the 20-yard line and of Great Valley. And Bricker has had a nice year, first-year starter.
Yeah, I don't think they do MVP players anymore for the leagues, but he would be my
Right
leading
there,
candidate right now for that Northern Division.
Yeah, he found Darian Smith wide open for his second TD pass of the night. This is the kickoff to Tommy Miller to start the second half. He's going to just bust through the Great Valley line there and takes the second half kickoff, 88 yards to make it a 21-0 Downingtown West lead.
That's D. West's famous wall return, and that's really a backbreaker. If it's 14-0 going into half, Great Valley really did a nice job, but you come out and give up a second half kickoff return. I mean, that'll really break your back.
Big momentum switch there. And now once again, Downingtown West, this time on their side of the field of the 50-yard line. They're on their own 38-yard line. Miller's going to take the sweep 62 yards to pad the Whippet lead. Miller had a big night with 153 yards rushing, and Downingtown West totaled 333 yards of total offense on the night and allowed Great Valley just 45 yards of offense.
So final would be Downingtown West 35, Great Valley nothing.
We're at Shanahan now as Sun Valley comes calling on the Eagles on their home field. And Sun Valley, surprisingly, is going to take the early lead. Really nice 43-yard touchdown pass here to get the Vanguards on the board first.
Yeah, it looked like I don't Shanahan playing an inverted cover 2, or there was some kind of mix up there, but the receiver, for a split second just got by the defender and he didn't get any help rotating over.
Well, after this, it's the Jewel and Haylock show for the rest of the night. Shanahan moving the ball down on the 10-yard line of Sun Valley. Anthony Aquila is going to hand off to Haylock. Nice big hole there, and he scores for the Eagles. Shanahan
They go for two?
They go for two, as they'd like to do. They take an 8-7 lead. This time, Haylock's going to score again. This is his second touchdown of the half, this time from 13 yards out as Shanahan starts to take control of his football game. Sun Valley, there some shoddy tackling.
Looks like Emmitt Smith a little bit there, where he kind of made his maneuvered ways through the line.
It's that man again, Haylock. This time from 42 yards out. Just outruns everyone. He's had a nice year for the Eagles.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, I'm impressed. It gives them, like 3 weapons on offense that they can really rely on. So, really should bode well for them going into the playoffs.
Yeah, he's going to score his 4th TD of the first half. This one from 7 yards out. Shanahan blows out Sun Valley.
Yeah, the final score, 43-7, Bishop Shanahan.
Okay, we head to Harold Zimmerman Stadium for Oxford and Westchester East. Westchester East has the football here on their own 40-yard line. And their top running back, Fenton Culp, gives East a strong start to this game. He goes 35 yards to put the ball into Oxford territory. Things rolling early for Westchester East. Now down on the 16-yard line of Oxford. Still scoreless. Culp's going to finish the drive with a 16-yard run to put the Vikings up 7-0. Okay, Westchester East with the ball again. Oh, okay. Oxford's offense shows out early. His quarterback Aiden Kane is going to take the snap. He's going to throw a deep crossing route to Aiden Petronas to move the ball into Viking territory. Westchester East in punt formation here. And once again, teams having trouble on the punt game. We saw it in the Unionville Avon Grove, and Oxford blocks this punt, and they return it for the tying score. That's a backbreaker, Coach.
Yeah, anytime you get a punt blocked, I've heard coaches say in the past that equates to, you losing the game. And we'll find out if that comes true or not here.
Okay, the Oxford defense gets into the action here. Westchester East with the ball on the Oxford 34-yard line. Bobbled snap by East. Oxford's Aiden Edison falls on it. Oxford football. Okay, Oxford with the ball on the Westchester East 46-yard line. They're starting to believe in themselves down at Oxford, Coach.
Yeah, well,
Kane makes
Mike
a great
Means
play
doing
here.
a heck of a job.
Scrambles out of trouble, and he hits Petronas for his 46-yard touchdown pass.
Wow.
Nice play. Breaks a tackle there. 14-7 Oxford at this point. Westchester East comes right back, though, in the fourth period. The Vikings showing a lot of heart, and they tie it up here as Chris Costa is going to go 24 yards for the score to make it a 14-14 game.
Watch this block.
Wow, that just springs it. Beautiful block.
Nice run, too.
Nice
Some
run.
nifty moves.
Chris Costa, 24 yards, 14-14.
He'll be a guy you're going to want to keep an eye on as you go into the rivalry game, Westchester East versus Henderson, which is our game of the week this week.
Okay, Oxford football, their own 20-yard line. Kane throwing a lot tonight, and he throws the deep post to Nate Winters for a 54-yard gain. Nate Winters is a nice receiver for the Hornets.
Yeah, he almost broke that one for the touchdown, Pete.
Okay, with 31 seconds left in regulation, and they're facing a 4th and 6, Oxford running back Jalen McClain is going to take the sprint draw 34 yards for the winning touchdown as Oxford goes into Zimmerman Stadium and beats the Vikings 21-14. Boy, that just opened up, Coach.
I mean, it's like he's like a jet of light. By the way, Pete, why don't you give us his stats, as Jalen McClain will also be our co-player of the week for Oxford, right? Congratulations to Jalen.
Yeah. Interception, 86 yards on the ground. Big night for Jalen McClain. Okay, we're at Downingtown East. Rustin here. Chase Hatton is breakthrough a tough Cougar defense for a 36-yard gain down to the 2-yard line.
Nice run.
Yeah, Hatton's a heck of a player. And he goes in from 2 yards out to give the Golden Knights a 7-0 lead. He's playing with one hand, really, Chase Hatton.
He does a lot of things better with one hand than a lot of people will do it too, apparently.
Yeah. And the Cougar defense, which has been good all year, they were strong all night here again. You're going to see here Ben Petrillo strips Ryan Loper of the ball after a big gain to end a Rustin drive. You see 7-0 Rustin. Loper, nice run, but Petrillo, great play, and there's the turnover. There's as he strips him. Rustin defense held, though, and they moved the ball back into Downingtown East territory. And Hatton's going to go 13 yards for his second TD, and it's 14-0 Golden Knights at Kottmeyer Stadium. You're going to see one of the biggest hits of the season so far, and it's from our man Chase Hatton as he was all over the field Friday night. Watch this hit, Coach. He shoots down from his safety spot and lights up Cougar running back Alex Reyes in the hole. Wow. It's a big-time hit.
Yeah, and a big-time stop, right? They needed, to get the yardage, and they didn't get it.
Yeah. But the East offense starts to show some life here as quarterback Mason Ippolito throws a pretty 23-yard hitch and go to Zach Lindsay to move the ball into Rustin territory. They had success with the medium passing game Friday night. They just had a little trouble throwing the deep ball. Okay, the East defense is going to bow up here, holding Rustin scoreless in the second half. You're going to see here outside linebacker Caleb Akins stunts inside and blows up Hatton.
There it is right there. Nice play.
Look at that hit.
Yeah.
Okay, Downingtown East shows
It looks like Rio's taking it in from two.
From the 2, and it's a 14-7 game. Okay, Downingtown East with the ball on their own 41-yard line.
Looks like a waggle pass.
Tries to go deep, and Nate Peachin with the pick. Beautiful
Great
interception.
pick. Yeah, it was just underthrown slightly by Ippolito.
Here, the Cougar defense, they fought the whole game. And you're going to see outside linebacker Logan Litwinko blitzes and makes a huge sack on Rustin's quarterback, David McClain here. Deep in Rustin territory.
What he didn't even see him.
No. I mean, this was a very tight football game between two very good football teams.
Is this East is driving here?
East is driving, and it's under 3 minutes remaining, and Ippolito tries to get outside the Rustin defense. Watch this play by Nate Peachin. Cuts him down. The ball comes loose. Rustin recovers, and they hang on for the win, 14-7 Rustin.
Wow, what a game.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, Rustin battles 14-7. One time they're on the losing side of Downingtown West, and this time they pull off a big win versus Downingtown East. That'll give them a lot of points, Pete.
Yeah, they're going to be in the top 4 in 5A if they finish out with 3 wins, which they'll be favored in every one of those games.
It'll set up an interesting matchup for Downingtown East as Thursday night they'll travel to Coatesville in what, will be, a very interesting game with both of them playing Downingtown West coming up. Almost a winner take all.
Yeah. Okay, we're J. Oscar Dick Stadium for Coatesville, Westchester, Henderson. It's a hard-hitting start for the Warriors. Inside linebacker Charlie Watson blitzes untouched and lights up the Red Raider running back, Nasir Jordan.
That might be the hit of the game. I mean, that and Hatton, were the 2 hits of the week for sure. Here's a closer look at it. What a play.
What a play. Yeah, Henderson fought in this one, as they do every week. Jordan gets payback here as he blitzes and takes down Henderson quarterback Jackson Lewis for a loss. Punt formation again, and we're going to have more trouble in the punting game for the team.
Yeah.
Coatesville takes advantage of the sack here. It's Anthony Kelly blocks the Henderson punt, recovers for the touchdown, and 7-0 Coatesville.
Anthony Kelly had a heck of a game as well, Pete.
Okay, we're going to see Matt Ortega Jr. is going to do his thing coming up here as he finds Tristan Jackson in the end zone for an 18-yard touchdown pass. Nice throw from Ortega.
Yep. Slips his defender wide open. Great play.
Here's Ortega again to that man Jackson, this time for a 25-yard score on the hitch and go. 21-0 Red Raiders.
Looks like the Red Raiders are ready to pull away.
But Henderson shows some fight as running back Brady Collins spins through the Red Raider defense 63 yards to set up their first score of the night. Collins went over 1,000 yards on the season in this game. He had 119 yards on 14 carries.
Yeah, the question we said going in was, would he be able to get over 1,000 against the Red Raider defense? And he did. So congratulations.
Here the Warriors have the ball again. And they cut the lead to one score here as Lewis finds Tyler Lewis on the skinny post for a 39-yard score. Henderson thinking upset at this point.
Yeah.
But Ortega is going to find Quan James on a 42-yard wheel route late in the first half to set up another Red Raider touchdown.
Look at that catch. Wow.
Yeah.
Diving.
James,
great
nice
catch.
player.
Absolutely.
Here you're going to see a great individual effort from the Sear Jordan as he goes 12 yards to give Coatesville a 35-13 lead.
So in the third quarter now, Coatesville starts to pull away.
Coatesville's going to end the scoring here as Anthony Kelly picks off Lewis and goes 95 yards with the pick six. That's the longest interception return in the county for this season. Big game from Kelly, as you said, Coach.
Yeah, blocked punt for a touchdown, and then he took one back 95 yards. So really impressive as Coatesville gets ready for their showdown with Downingtown East this week at home. Coatesville wins 49-20 over Westchester Henderson. All right. Next, we'll move into our highlights. From our highlights to our interview with Coach Scott Stephen from Westchester East and Coach Bob Bryce.
Okay, we're here with Bob Bryce, the head football coach at Westchester Henderson, before his big game with the Coatesville Red Raiders. And after this interview with Bob, we're going to talk to Scott Stephen from Westchester East. But first, a word from PA Rebels.
If you're looking for a travel baseball program that is competitive but focuses on player development, please check out the PA Rebels program out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. Their development program has led to over 45 players gain college baseball opportunities over the past 4 years.
Bob, you've been on both sides of the Westchester East-Henderson rivalry. Star quarterback for Westchester East, head coach at Henderson. Talk to me a little about what it meant to you as a player. And did Coach Joe Carroll, the Vikings at that time, did he have to make it a big game, or was it a big game to the kids anyway?
Well, first of all, I think star quarterback's a loose term with all the guys that I had around me. But, yeah, I think traditionally this is a huge rivalry. I don't think the coaches needed to hype it up more than it was. I think you're playing a crosstown rival who has, like, your neighborhood on their chest, so it means more than most games.
And you guys were sort of the new kid on the block at East, even though school was started in 1979. Was there that feeling of being an underdog or anything against the established Henderson school?
I think with the 4 years that I was there, it was up and down, right? I think that with the Matt McGreevy years, it was back and forth, and then I think my junior year was Henderson, and then my senior year we had it. It's always a battle. It's up and down.
Right. As head coach of Henderson now, the Warriors, do you stress it to the kids, or you don't have to? They want to play East?
So naturally they want to play East. We're more of a process-driven team, so we try to go into every game with the same mentality and same look, but you can't take away the hype and the tradition and the history of this game. So.
Is this still the big game? I know Rustin came on board in 2004, 2005, and I know they've been part of the rivalry, but is Westchester East, Westchester Henderson still the Westchester game?
So I think to me that's based on perspective, and in my opinion I would say East and Henderson still the rivalry, and that's not taking anything away from Rustin. That's just a lot of years. We just had our 50th anniversary game last year, so I think that kind of means more than any kind of rivalry you can have with Rustin.
Now talk about your team for a minute. You guys are on the cusp of making the playoffs. You're right outside the 16. Can this team make a run, Bob, and get in? And what would it mean to you to get this team in the playoffs?
I think with our process mentality, I'm really trying to build the program. I would really like to make the playoffs for the kids, but I don't think it really defines us. So,
okay.
I think anything's possible. I think we got two great opponents coming up in Coatesville and Rustin, and then East is always a battle, so you never know.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on with Scott Stephen, the head man at Westchester East. Scott, thanks for joining us, me and Coach Steve Minton tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, you got the big game with Henderson coming up, and I wanted to ask you, rivalries, the Downingtown rivalry, how intense is the Westchester rivalry with the kids and the coaching staff?
I think when you look back and you look at everything, it's all three teams' goals at the start of the year, right? So it's us, it's Henderson's, it's Rustin's. Each of us want to win Westchester. That's probably goal number one set out, and that's a goal that doesn't change from year to year. And, I'm sure, the other two schools would echo the same thing. So it's big, it's important, it's fun, and it's what high school football is all about.
Is it talked about, Coach, like early in the year, like we got to beat these guys, or is it just like the kids understand that that's the deal?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think at the start of each season, you iron out what you want to accomplish, and that's always the first one that's talked about, right? And it's highlighted throughout the course of preseason, and then as the date gets near, it becomes like any other week. You start preparing for it, you start talking about it a little bit more, and you start focusing and honing in on the implications of that game.
Coach, great to see you again, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, Coach.
One thing that was always a very difficult thing about this rivalry was when Henderson and East, before Rustin, Henderson and East had to play each other twice a year. I know it was always difficult to get the kids up for that mid-season game versus Westchester East. We'd play them mid-season, and then, of course, play them on Thanksgiving. The playoffs, I guess, after the 06 season, ended that. Is there anything special that you're doing this week to either get the kids in the right frame of mind, get them psyched up for this game, or to tamp them down if they need that?
I think for us, it's our next opponent. It happens to be Henderson. It happens to be the first of the two Westchester games, and I think when you look at what we've gone through the past couple weeks, in terms of we're just trying to right the ship, so to say, every pun intended right there, and play our best football in a really meaningful game. So I think when you talk about trying to accomplish those goals, adding the fact that it is Henderson, I think there's certain things that, we talk about, but at the same point, we have to focus on what the task at hand is for us. And this week, it does happen to be Henderson, and we're going to look to try and play our best ball that we've had in previous weeks. I'm sure as the game time ramps up, the hearts are going to be fluttering. The energy level is going to be good. The enthusiasm is going to be awesome, like it should be. So,
Coach, you've been hit pretty hard by the injury bug the last couple weeks. How do you manage that? Being you're not a big 6A school, you're a 5A school, a 3-school district in Westchester. How do you manage this with the intensity you're going to need to play a big rival like Henderson?
Yeah, there's no experience like Friday night game experience, and the speed and physicality of Friday is very different than that of Monday afternoons for JV, and even in practice, because obviously the goal is to get to Friday night's game, so especially at this part of the season when everyone's bumped and bruised and has injuries. But I will say it's been tricky. We have a lot of guys going in and out of the lineup, and at this time of year, there is, like every week, there's limited practice reps that can mimic what they're actually going to see on Friday night, so you do the best you can in the classroom. You do the best you can with presentations and film study and preparation. And, if there's questions, you answer them. But there is no real experience to when everything's flying on a Friday night. So, and then you make the corrections on Friday and you coach them up on the sideline. And, at that point, it's play ball. You got to play with speed on Friday.
Coach, what's the slogan for this week going into the Warriors?
I think it's for us. It's like we just, we have to stop the mistakes and we have to stop the miscues, and we've moved the ball at times, but, second drive this past week versus Oxford after an opening scoring drive, we get a first down, we're at 2nd and 4, then all of a sudden we're at 2nd and 9, 2nd and 14. Then there's a fumbled snap, and then we get called for a different penalty after we'd gotten the first down. So I think for us, it's just minimize the miscues, and we got to be consistent. We have to establish the consistency, and you know this, Mitt. There's so much detail that goes into this and so many aspects. So, I think for us, it's certainly those two things: consistency and details.
Well, thank you, Coach. Best of luck to you Friday night.
Best of
Thank
luck.
you for joining us.
Stay healthy, Scott.
Good afternoon, everybody. Coach Minton here, taking a look at the Henderson offense in the big game with Westchester East. Henderson star running back Brady Collins has a nice run right here, but what we want to take a look at are maybe a couple of those blocks that make that run possible. By the right guard, the top arrow, the arrow farthest on the left, we're going to take a look at good job by him, by this guard, coming off a block and picking up a linebacker. This is a G read play, so we have backside guard coming, pulling around into the hole. And, of course, there's no long runs that are possible without good blocking by the wideouts. And this kid down here at the bottom does a great job springing Brady Collins on a big gainer. Gets through the hole. Collins shifty, slippery back, gets away from the safety, breaks another tackle for a big gainer to get Henderson back in the game in the first half.
And he went over 1,000 yards that night against a pretty good Coatesville defense. So, good for him. Next clip.
Pause it for a second here, Coach. This is a 3-by-1 formation, trips to the wide side of the field, single receiver down here at the bottom. What Coach Ellis and Coach Bryce are trying to do is isolate the receiver one-on-one with the Coatesville D-back. This is, and you're going to see two plays here in which the Henderson wideout gets a win against the Coatesville cornerback. For years, it has been Coatesville's strategy to load the box, put a lot of bodies in there because they thought that they were good enough on the outside to go one-on-one with any receivers, particularly any Henderson receivers. This is a great job with the stem of the route to turn the hips of the corner. You see the corner turn his hips, turn his back right away to you. He has one right there. That looks like A.J. Brown getting somebody's hips turned. Quarterback delivers the ball for a nice gain. Henderson comes back with the same formation, same snag concept to the wide side, and watch the single receiver down here win at the line of scrimmage. This is some good footwork. This play happens at the first yard. He gets him to turn his hips the wrong way. Safety is looking towards the trip side. Big gainer puts Henderson right back in the ball game.
All right, Tom Wolf here for ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. Going to take a look at the Westchester Henderson defense. They run a 4-man front, and they like to play 2 inside linebackers and an outside linebacker along with a safety. And what they like to do with these 4 D linemen, they want these 4 D linemen be responsible for these 5 offensive linemen. And on this play, it's a basic inside zone where you got double teams here and here, double teams here and here. And what these double teams are trying to do is get up to the linebackers and block these linebackers. But inside linebacker number 54, Charlie Watson, does a real nice job of timing up this run blitz and beating the double team before it can get up to him. Right through the A-gap, and he blows up the Coatesville running back for a nice big play early on in the game. Next clip I want to show you. Again, 4-man front here. Coatesville has these wide twins look, and they're just going to run a little jet screen out here. Good job of recognition by the safety on this play. He does a good job of working outside in, and you'll notice Henderson's defense. They all run to the ball in a great pursuit angle, and if anybody's ever played defensive football or coached defensive football knows pursuit drill, where you turn and run to the cone. And this is a great example of it here. So there's a little hitch, a little outside hitch. Safety does a good job of turning them inside. And then you can see the wall of Henderson defenders here. Everybody's going running to their pursuit cone in the pursuit drill. and they really do a nice job of getting out and making a nice gang tackle on the Coatesville receiver for a minimal gain. So good job, good team defense there by Henderson. Last clip I want to show you, I want to isolate on the safety here. Number 0, Bryce for Westchester Henderson. He does a real nice job of running the alley inside and then out. Coatesville's running back is trying to bounce it outside, and he does a real nice job of meeting them right at the line of scrimmage. And then the corner does a good job of avoiding the block and coming up and helping to clean up the play on the Coatesville sideline. So let's take a look. Here comes Bryce. He recognizes run, gets into the alley. Good play there. And then his teammate helps clean it up. So good job of team defense there by Westchester Henderson.
Now let's take a look at the Westchester East offense. This is a jet look with a G lead behind it. And what Coach Stevens is looking to do here is to get the Oxford defense to widen towards the Oxford sideline and then hand off with an off-tackle play underneath of it. He doesn't really get the reaction that he wants, but this is a really good job by number 23, Fenton Culp, 208-pound running back. 22 or 23? 23. He does a great job getting downhill and uses his superior speed and size for a big gainer. It's really a nice job. Not a lot of people look like they're interested in tackling that big guy. Here is outside zone by Westchester East, and coach the offensive line, Coach Wolf. I know you have as well. Good job, all the Westchester East defensive linemen taking a step with their left foot. It's not the center, but the guard and tackle on that side, particularly. Not the center as much. He blocks back and does allow a little penetration, but this is a really nice play, and they get the edge on Oxford and get into the end zone. Not easy to get those big guys to step with the correct foot.
Dancing Bears.
Here's a counter play. Number 73, the guard Landon Messina does a nice job picking up the outside linebacker, and again allows the East running back to get in the end zone. That jet motion, trying to get some reaction out of the linebackers, and that's a pretty good job by that guard, Creighton Hole. Missed tackle, nice move,
and again downfield blocking. That's the difference between a 10-yard run and a touchdown.
Every time.
Downfield blocking. Good job. All right, Tom Wolf here for ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. Going to take a look at the Westchester Henderson defense. They run a 4-man front, and they like to play 2 inside linebackers and an outside linebacker along with a safety. And what they like to do with these 4 D linemen, they want these 4 D linemen be responsible for these 5 offensive linemen. And on this play, it's a basic inside zone where you got double teams here and here, double teams here and here. And what these double teams are trying to do is get up to the linebackers and block these linebackers. But inside linebacker number 54, Charlie Watson, does a real nice job of timing up this run blitz and beating the double team before it can get up to him. Right through the A-gap, and he blows up the Coatesville running back for a nice big play early on in the game. Next clip I want to show you. Again, 4-man front here. Coatesville has these wide twins look, and they're just going to run a little jet screen out here. Good job of recognition by the safety on this play. He does a good job of working outside in. And you'll notice Henderson's defense, they all run to the ball in a great pursuit angle. And, if anybody's ever played defensive football or coached defensive football knows pursuit drill where you turn and run to the cone. And this is a great example of it here. So there's a little outside hitch. Safety does a good job of turning them inside. And then you can see the wall of Henderson defenders here. Everybody's going run into their pursuit cone in the pursuit drill. And they really do a nice job of getting out and making a nice gang tackle on the Coatesville receiver for a minimal gain. So good job, good team defense there by Henderson. Last clip I want to show you, I want to isolate on the safety here. Number 0, Bryce for Westchester Henderson. He does a real nice job of running the alley inside and then out. Coatesville's running back is trying to bounce it outside, and he does a real nice job of meeting them right at the line of scrimmage. And then the corner does a good job of avoiding the block and coming up and helping to clean up the play on the Coatesville sideline. So let's take a look. Here comes Bryce. He recognizes run, gets into the alley. Good play there. And then his teammate helps clean it up. So good job of team defense there by Westchester Henderson.
All right, we are here for our prediction segment. Thanks to Coach Bryce and Coach Steven for joining us and doing interviews with us. That was really great. And then Coach Mitten and Coach Wolf, outstanding job on the breakdowns of the big rivalry game. So let's get to predictions. First, we'll go over the records. So the big dog, Kyle Berger, our special guest last week, goes 2-0. He takes Unionville and he takes Rustin. He's not even from the area, doesn't even follow the Chestmont, but he goes 2-0. So that doesn't bode well for us. Coach Wolf, 5-2 on the week. We all were 5-2 on the week, except for Kyle. He was 2-0. So Tom Wolf, you go to 53-16. Nate, not bad, 5-2. You go to 16-7. Coach Pete, you're 52-17, and I am fortunate enough to be 55-14. So with 3 weeks left, let's see if I can hold the top lead. And Coach Wolf, I know you're going to come hard down the stretch. Pete's going to work some magic, and it'll be best average too. So look who joins us, Coach Mitten, because of the big Westchester East Henderson rivalry. He's going to come in and make some picks. We're glad to have you as well. Let's get started. So let's go Bishop Shanahan at Downingtown West. I think we're all in agreement there. We're going to take Downingtown West. Coach Wolf has interesting insight. He thinks that Shanahan will be able to score points on West. So it'll be interesting to see. But we're all going to take Downingtown West there, even though Shanahan's been playing some good football. We have Great Valley at Rustin. Rustin coming off of that big win against Downingtown East last week at Kottmeyer. They return home, and they play Great Valley. It looks like two teams just going in opposite directions here, right? Maybe Rustin has a letdown, but I think Great Valley's just maybe on their last leg. We all agree there on Rustin as well. And then finally, Malvern Prep and Episcopal, the league opener, the Interact League opener. Both teams had off last week. Apparently the entire Interact gets a bye week before the league starts. That'd be nice, huh? And we all believe that Malvern Prep, coming off of that big Gonzaga win, will, probably beat Episcopal. Episcopal's on a rebuilding year kind of this year. So, all right, those 3 games, we're all in unison. We all have Malvern, Rustin, and Downingtown West. Let's get started on the other 4 games. So we have Oxford at Avon Grove. Avon Grove playing their second game at home in their league. Let's start off with Wolfie. Coach, what do you got?
I really like the way that Oxford responded last week, and they pulled out a last-second victory over Westchester East. But I think this Avon Grove team is for real in the Chestmont South, and I think they're starting to play better football. So I'm going to pick Avon Grove.
Okay. Coach Mid, first pick ever. Here we go.
I'm going to agree with Coach Wolf, and I'm going to take Avon Grove. I like what Coach Means does at Oxford. He runs a great program there. But I think Avon Grove is just going to have a little bit too much for them and a little bit too much defensively, and they're going to get the win.
Okay. Frank Hoganworth, right? The quarterback there. Not sure his status on the game. I know he got hurt and knocked out in the third quarter, so we'll have to play it by ear. It is a shorter week as well. Nate, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go Avon Grove. I just think they have, too many playmakers. Oxford, obviously, really, really good job last week, and they're running the ball really well this year and playing better defense than they have in the last few years. So, it should be a good game, but I'm going to stick with Avon Grove this week.
Okay. I was at the Avon Grove Unionville game last week, and it was an outstanding game. I'd like to also thank again Coach Coffey and his staff for giving me complete access before the game to the program. And then, of course, I'm not going to take them this week. I'm going to take Oxford. I think Oxford's on a roll, you know what I mean? And they're making plays. I think that's 2 in a row for them. And I'm gonna go with Oxford, which would set up a huge game next week for Oxford in the South Division. Pete.
Oxford. Aiden Kane started to show he could throw the football a little bit against Westchester East. Hoogerworth probably won't play for Avon Grove. I like Oxford.
Good pick. All right. Here we go. Let's go Kennett at Unionville. Let's stay in the same league, same division. I shouldn't say same league. Pete, what do you got here?
Boy, this is I think it's the toughest game on the slate this week. I like Unionville. I think they're on a roll. I like what Murphy's done down there, head coach Tim Murphy. Kennett 2 in a row. I mean, beating Chichester is nothing to really hang your hat on. I like Unionville.
I'm in agreement with Pete. Not only is this a really tough game to pick, and this has league championship indications all over it, right? I mean, the winner could win the league here. I just think Unionville. I was really impressed with Unionville last week. They lose their quarterback in the first quarter of the game, and they just transitioned right into Wildcat. You know what I mean? And they weren't going to throw the ball, but I mean, our co-player of the week, Brody. I'm going to go with Unionville. I think they will pull it out at home versus Kennett. Nate?
I'm sticking with Unionville too. I think their defense has been playing well, keeping Avon Grove to 7 points last week was a good job by them. I think McLaughlin's finally hitting his stride a little bit, kind of breaking out this year. They've been finding ways to score and winning some of these close games. I think it bodes well in another one that might be close, but I think they might have a little bit more experience over Kennett, so I'm taking Unionville.
Coach Mitten.
At Unionville, right?
Yes.
The Longhorn Corral. I think that's going to be a big advantage for Unionville, and Unionville comes out ahead.
Coach Wolf.
Not so fast, my friends.
Interesting.
Well, famous phrase. It's a rivalry game. It's the battle for mushrooms or something down there. They have the Mushroom Festival. And I really like what Unionville did. McLaughlin did a good job filling in for McGinnis when he went down. But I like Kennett here. They got their halfback back. He's healthy, number 22, Ian Geyer. Their quarterback, McCracken, made some nice throws last week. And I think Coach Frazier is going to have them ready to make a little 10-minute drive up 82. And I'm looking for Kennett to pull the upset.
It's not a bad pick. It'll be interesting to see if McGinnis does not play, what kind of defense Frazier has prepared for the Wildcat. All right. Moving on, Downingtown East at Coatesville. By the way, all these games are on Thursday night, except for the Malvern Episcopal game. So, do we even have to do this? I guess, Coach Wolf, why don't you give us your prediction for this game?
I thought Downingtown East played a great game last week against Rustin. They just ended up a little short, lost by a touchdown. I look for them. Their defense is playing tremendous, and I look for their defense to hold the Coatesville running game in check. And they're going to force Matt Ortega Jr. to beat them. Offensively, they made a couple mistakes in the red zone. I think they get that cleaned up. It's going to be a great, hard-hitting game again. It's going to be close, and Downingtown East pulls it out.
Coach Mitten.
Coach Matta, after coming off a loss, is always very, very tough. Very, very tough. I think the momentum is going to be with the Cougars, and I think it's going to be the Cougars win.
Nate, I'll go to you after your car pulls by there. There you go. Okay. Yeah, this game, in my opinion, is could possibly be an elimination game with both teams playing West. So if you lose to East or Coatesville and you lose to West, I think the team that does lose to both, they're out. I don't think they make the playoffs. Pete.
Boy, this is a nail biter, but I like Coatesville. I think they're going to be able to run the football, and I just don't see Downingtown East making enough big plays. I like Coatesville.
So, 2 people like Coatesville and 2 people like Downingtown East, which puts me in a very precarious spot here. Obviously, everybody knows that I'm going to take Downingtown East. Here's why. If Coatesville would just say to themselves, look, we're going to do what Rustin did. We're going to just run the ball. We're going to run the football. We're committed to running. I think they can pull this one out. However, I don't think Coatesville will do that. I think Coatesville is going to try and throw the ball. They're going to commit a lot of penalties doing that. They're going to be behind the sticks all night long. And I think, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a really close game. But I for whatever reason, I'm going to give the edge to the team that's going to make the least amount of penalties, make the least amount of mistakes. And in my opinion, I think that's going to be Downingtown East. So then that would be 3 wins in a row. Coach Matt over Coach Ortega, all at the Ville, which is unbelievable. So, all right, let's move on. We got the final game, the huge game. We'll call it the Coach Mitten game. All right, we got Henderson traveling to Westchester East. So this is our game of the week. Pete, let's start with you.
Love Henderson in this game. Westchester East banged up. Fenton Culp out for the year. The East running back, Brady Collins, went over 1,000 yards last week for Henderson. He scored in every game this year. I like Henderson big here.
Big? Oh, wow. All right. I, too, like Henderson. I don't like the fact that Westchester East lost Fenton Culp. I also think Westchester East is trending in the wrong direction, where even though Henderson has not won in the past, right, they lost to Shanahan and then they lost to Coatesville. But they played both those games very hard. You know what I mean? And they were in both games in the first half for the most part. So I'm gonna take the road dog Henderson over Westchester East this week. Nate. Okay. We'll go to Coach Wolf.
Tough game, again, for the reasons that have been stated. I like Henderson to pull it out. I think too much Brady Collins.
All right, now, I set it up. Mitten Bowl. Mitten's let the last pick take us out. It wouldn't shock me to see Coach Mitten take Westchester East, maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, no, I'm a guy. I'm a loyal guy, Coach Moyer. I would not go against my home team. Of course, I'm going to go for the Warriors. I was at the first Henderson East game. I was there one of the last ones in 2016 when Henderson won the Westchester Championship. That of course was a great game. I'm going to take the Warriors, but don't be surprised that there's some big special teams plays that end up being very consequential in this matchup. It always seems like there will be a mistake on special teams or something that'll happen that'll give one team or the other the advantage. But
all right, we'll look for that. All right, don't forget, everyone, the games are Thursday night, so make sure you get out, enjoy the games, and we will see you next week.